What's up, all you freaks out there? This is Ryan, and I am here to bring you some supernatural news on a Thursday night. Random supernatural news night. I was bored, and I was thinking, you know what? I have not done a supernatural news show in a long time. I asked Angie if she wanted to do it, but she's not feeling good, so I'm going to be flying solo tonight. I did ask CR too if he wanted to come on, but he's about to pass out. So tonight I'll be flying solo, which is fine. Just reading news articles and stuff tonight. And yeah, it's been a while since we've done this, and I wanted to see what is out there in the land of supernatural news. I'm drinking some tea tonight. I think it's called Throat Coat is what the tea is called. Supposed to help with sore throats. I don't even have a sore throat, but it tastes really good. Plus, it's relaxing. I've been drinking a lot of tea lately at night. I used to drink decaf coffee, and I still like coffee, but I don't know. I just didn't feel as relaxed drinking decaf as I thought I would, because it's not caffeinated, So then I was like, well, I started drinking the sparkling water like LaCroix and bubbly. It doesn't have much flavor to it, but I like it for some reason. So I was like, if I like LaCroix and bubbly that doesn't have much flavor, then why not drink tea? So I found some chamomile tea in the cabinet. I was like, I'll drink this. So I started drinking tea now. Oh, that's my story. That's my tea story. As riveting as it is, that's why I started drinking tea, because it doesn't have much flavor. So supernatural news. Let's see here. I'm going to add this to the, here we go. Screen. Share. All right. So this is from Live Science. The biggest hunt for the Loch Ness Monster in 50 years is about to begin. Hundreds of monster hunters will descend on Loch Ness this weekend for what organizers claim is the biggest Loch Nessie search in more than 50 years. But don't expect a monster discovery. The Loch Ness Centre, a visitor attraction in Scotland, announced earlier this month that it was looking for budding monster hunters to help search Loch Ness on August 26th and 27th in what's called a giant surface watch. A spokesperson for the Loch Ness Centre told Live Science more than 200 people have signed up to attend the search in person, while over 100 more are planning to take part virtually. The center promises the search will be the biggest of its kind since a group called the Loch Ness Investigation Bureau last studied the loch in 1972. However, scientific research suggests there's nothing monstrous lurking beneath the waves. The Loch Ness Monster, that is, I don't know what to make of the Loch Ness Monster. What do you think about the Loch Ness Monster? Is it real?
I don't know the answer to that question. I do not believe that there is enough evidence either way, but I feel that there is something.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'd be more apt to discover. Well, I don't know, because the loch is pretty deep. You know?
Yeah,
I wonder.
sure.
I think if they decided the Loch Ness Monster is not real, it would mess up tourism out there. So they probably want to keep that alive, just so we can get just so they can get people to come out there to look for the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
I mean, if I were a betting man, if I were to say, if you had to put a gun to my head, I would be like, all right, I believe in Bigfoot more than I believe in the Loch Ness Monster. There's really no, because there's really more places for Bigfoot to hide. So I don't know, but apparently they're having a big Loch Ness Monster hunt out in Scotland, or they had one because this was in August. So pretty sure they didn't find them because there is nothing written about it. A scientific survey of Loch Ness DNA in 2019 found no traces of monster DNA to support the legend, like the researchers did. However, find a lot of eel DNA and couldn't rule out a theory that overgrown eels are responsible for sightings. Loch Ness is also low in nutrients and unlikely to support a large unknown predator species like a massive ancient reptile, Live Science previously reported. So this is just, I mean, they're really shooting holes in the whole Loch Ness Monster theory, aren't they? Here's one. No, the Loch Ness Monster was not a whale's penis. Well, there you go. That shoots that theory out the water there. The Loch Ness Monster legend dates back many centuries, but this year marks the 90th anniversary of a famous Nessie sighting from 1933. Aldi McKay, manager of the then Dromnoctic Hotel, now the Loch Ness Center site, helped ignite the modern Nessie craze after reporting seeing a whale-like fish or water beast in the loch. So there's no pictures. What I pick? No pictures of it. And he says he sees this creature in the loch, and everyone starts going crazy over it. I mean, there is that one picture of the Loch Ness Monster, but it ended up being like a stick or something. Despite no hard evidence for the fabled monster's existence, Nessie became famous the world over, and the loch remains a popular tourist destination. This weekend, the Loch Ness Center will host various activities as part of the research, including operating 90-minute-long premium deep scan cruises, where paying customers can join Nessie hunters using a hydrophone, listen for noises in the depths of the loch, according to the announcement. So basically, you can act like a Loch Ness Monster hunter, drive around for an hour and a half and not find anything. Good times. The visitor center claims it will also have a surveying equipment not used on the loch before, including flying thermal drones equipped with infrared cameras to detect heat in the water. Meanwhile, Surface Watch volunteers will be asked to look out for breaks in the water and any inexplicable movements, according to the statements. While in person, volunteering is now fully booked. I mean, it would be fun to go on a Loch Ness Monster hunt. I mean, if you set your expectations low, if you don't think you're going to be discovering anything, just do it for the experience. I think it'd be fun. While in person, volunteering. People can still join the search from home by logging into a live stream of the loch. So you can sit at home, like I'm doing right now, log into the live stream of the loch, and you can watch. You could discover the Loch Ness Monster from the comfort of your house, of your couch. The weekend gives an opportunity to search the waters in a way that has never been done before. And we can't wait to see what we find, Paul Nixon, the Loch Ness Center general manager, said in this statement. Well, what date was this? This was August 24th, 2023. I've not heard any life-changing discoveries, so I'm guessing they did not find the Loch Ness Monster, which is unfortunate, because it would have been cool if they would have found it. Take a sip of my tea here. Burp real quick. I think it'd be fun to go Bigfoot hunting or go look for Loch Ness monsters or, skinwalkers and stuff like that. I think it'd be fun. I don't really think we'll just find the lock. I mean, I don't know. I guess everything's possible. But this is not paranormal, but it's a mystery. And apparently it's still a mystery, but we're one step closer to finding it. Why do cats purr? This was written 9 days ago. Scientists may have finally discovered exactly how cats produce their iconic purr, and it may come from a unique structure in our feline friend's voice box. Some scientists have long thought cat purrs are the result of contracting and relaxing muscles in the vocal cords of the larynx. But the research reveals this may not be the case, and instead suggests cats have special pads that help them produce their ultra-low frequency purrs. I had no idea that cats purring was such a mystery. I just thought people already knew what it was. I didn't know what it was because I never really thought about it. But apparently, it's a mystery to science too. We've lived with cats as pet animals for 10,000 years probably. It's one of the most famous animal sounds around. Robert Ekelund, a linguist at Linköping University in Sweden, who studies purring but is not involved in the new research, told Live Science. But we still don't know how they do it. How do they do that? Many animal sounds are made by pushing air through the larynx or voice box, where the air causes the vocal cords to vibrate and make sound. That's how people speak and sing, and cats make sounds like meows. Sometimes some scientists previously thought that cats purr by actively contracting and releasing the muscles in the voice box to create the rhythmic purring sound as air is pushed through. The authors of the new study, published on October 3rd in the journal Current Biology, said in a statement. It makes sense to me. Again, haven't thought about it. To investigate further, these researchers pushed air through extracted larynxes from cats that had been euthanized because of terminal illness to find out. So, I know it's science, but it's still creepy. They euthanize these cats because they have a disease and they die, but they're pushing air through these dead cats to see if they make noise like a purring sound, that have been euthanized because of terminal illness to find out how exactly the sound is made. All the cats' owners consented to the larynx being used. See, in my mind, I like have these dead cats, and they're taking like one of those things you push it up and down to make a fire, and they put it for like towards bud to make the air go through it. Ugh. But that's not what they do. That's just what I had in my mind. They found that the organs produce purr-like sounds simply by blowing air through them, without any of the larynx muscles contracting or releasing. What's more, the cat's vocal cords were vibrating similarly to human vocal cords vibrate while producing the vocal fry sound, the stuttering staccato sound that voice makes when dropping into a lower register. Purring is a very low frequency sound for an animal like a cat to make. Just like an upright bass will produce a lower sound than a violin, longer vocal cords will produce a lower sound on shorter vocal cords. That's why mice have squeakier voices than people. But despite their small size, cats may be able to produce low purring sounds thanks to pads of tissue attached to their vocal cords, which may help the cords vibrate at much lower frequencies. The authors of the new study suggested, while this new discovery doesn't completely rule out this theory that cats actively use their muscles to produce their purring sound, it does open the door to new research, they add. Ekelund said that this research is a milestone when it comes to explaining how purring is actually done. Yet a definitive conclusion on how cats purr may be more complicated than it seems. Theoretically, scientists could put a cat into a functional magnetic resonance or fMRI machine and watch what happens inside the brain as it purrs, Ekelund said, but for that to work, the cat would need to be strapped down to remain completely still inside the scanner while being convinced to purr at the same time, he added, which would be an ethically problematic experiment to do on an animal. It's not like you can ask them to purr and they will do it, Ekelund. I mean, it's really... The cats have been purring for as long as cats have been around, right? And it's been a mystery for that long. Why is it that important to figure out why they purr? You know, it doesn't... I mean, it could be cool to know. I mean, but it's really not that important. Definitely not important enough to strap it down to an MRI machine. I say let's keep the mystery alive and just let the cats purr. Let the cats purr. I can go into the paranormal. Let's see here. So this one is from The Conversation. This was written April 6, 2023. So it's kind of old, a few months old. What science can tell us about the experience of an unexplainable presence? If you've ever had the eerie sensation there is a presence in the room when you were sure you were alone, maybe you may be reluctant to admit it. Perhaps it was a profound experience that you were happy to share with others, or more likely it was something in between the two. Unless you had an explanation to help you process the experience, most people will struggle to grasp what happened to them. But now research is showing this ethereal present experience is something we can understand using scientific models of the mind, the body, and the relationship between the two. One of the largest studies on the topic was carried out as long as 1894. I almost said 1984. The Society for Psychical Research, or SPR, published their Census of Hallucinations, a survey of more than 17,000 people in the UK, US, and Europe. The survey aimed to understand how common it was for people to have seemingly impossible visitations that foretold death. The SPR concluded that such experiences happen too often to be down to chance. 1 in every 43 people that were surveyed. In 1896, the SPR, which numbered former UK Prime Minister William Gladstone and poet Alfred Lord Tennyson among its patrons, published Phantasms of the Living. This collection included 701 cases of telepathy, premonitions, and other unusual phenomenon. For instance, the Reverend P.H. Newman of Devonport in Plymouth told the story of a visit to New Zealand where a nighttime presence warned him away from joining a boat trip at dawn the next morning. He later learned that all on the voyage had drowned. At the time, Phantasms was criticized for being unscientific. The census was received with less skepticism, but still suffered from response bias. Who would bother responding to such a survey except those who with something to say? But such experiences live on in homes across the world, and contemporary science offers ideas for understanding them. Not such sweet dreams. Many of the accounts SBR collected sounds like hypnagigo, hang on. Let's see here. Oh, put it into Google Translate here. Enter text. HYPNAGOGAI.
Hypnagogia. Hypnagogia.
Hypnagogia.
Hypnagogia.
Or hallucinatory experiences that happen on the boundaries of sleep. It has been suggested that several religious experiences recorded in the 19th century have basis in
hypnagogia.
Presences have a particularly strong link with sleep paralysis experienced by around 7.7% of adults at least once in their life. In sleep paralysis, our muscles remain frozen as a hangover from REM sleep, but our mind is active and awake. Studies have suggested that more than 50% of people with sleep paralysis report encountering a presence. While the Victorian presences documented by the SPR were often benign or comforting, modern examples of presence triggered by sleep paralysis tend to exude malevolence. Societies around the world have their own stories about nighttime presences. From the Portuguese, Little Friar with the pierced hand, Fradinho de Malfrada, who could infiltrate people's dreams, to the Ogun Oro of the Yoruba people in Nigeria, which was believed to be a product of victims being bewitched. But why would an experience such as paralysis create a feeling of presence? Some researchers have focused on the specific characteristics of waking up in such an unusual situation. Most people find sleep paralysis scary, even without hallucinations. In 2007, sleep researcher J. Allen Shane and Todd Garrod argued that if we wake paralyzed and vulnerable, our instincts would make us feel threatened, and our mind fills a gap. If we are prey, there must be a predator. Another approach is to look at the commonalities between visitation and sleep paralysis and other types of felt presence. Research research over the past 25 years has shown presences are not only a regular part of the
hypnagogia,
landscape, but also reported in Parkinson's disease, psychosis, near-death experiences, and bereavement. This suggests that it's unlikely to be a sleep-specific phenomenon. So, hypnagogia, or
hypnagogia,
that's what sleep paralysis, and I think Angie said she's had sleep paralysis before. Yeah, pretty scary stuff, especially when you think you're alone or you can't move and you think there's somebody around you. Mind-body connection. We know from neurological cases and brain stimulation experiments that presences can be provoked by bodily cues. For example, in 2006, neurologist Shahar Arzi and colleagues were able to create a shadow figure that was experienced by a woman whose brain was electrically stimulated in the left. Okay, I do it again. TEMPOROPARETAL.
temporoparietal,
Temporoparietal.
temporoparietal,
Ooh, I lost my place there. I was spelling it. Okay. Experienced by the woman whose brain was electrically stimulated in the left
temporoparietal,
junction, or TPJ. The figure seemed to mirror the woman's body position, and the TPJ combines information about her senses and body. A series of experiments in 2014 also showed that disrupting people's sensory expectations seems to induce a feeling of presence in some healthy people. The way the procedure the researchers use works is to trick you into knowing as if you are touching your own back by synchronizing your movements with a robot directly behind you. Our brains make sense of the synchronization by inferring that we are producing that sensation. Then, when that synchronization is disrupted by making the robot touches slightly out of sync, people can suddenly feel like another person is present, a ghost in the machine, changing that sensory expectations. I mean, that's great if there's a robot in front of you, but these are all like, it doesn't explain if you're in a house and you see someone walking in front of you, or like you catch an EVP of a voice that wasn't there, or someone slams against the window. Hey, Howie. It says you're not late. I'm just going around, and I think I do some supernatural news. Some of these, I mean, I understand, like, if you're in a certain situation and this stuff happens, I can see why they would be like, okay, well, this is why. But that's not like every day, you know? That logic could also apply to a situation like sleep paralysis. All our usual information about our bodies and senses is disrupted in that context. So it's perhaps no surprise that we may feel like there's something other than there, something perhaps so it's no surprise, perhaps, that we may feel like there's something other there with us. We might feel like it's like there is another presence, but really it's us. I mean, again, it's not, doesn't give it gives an explanation that could happen in a particular circumstance, but you've got to be in that particular circumstance, you know? In my own research in 2022, I tried to trace the similarities in presence from clinical accounts, spiritual practice, and endurance sports, which are well known for producing a range of hallucinatory phenomenon, including presence. In all of these situations, many aspects of the feeling of a presence were very similar. For example, the subject felt that the presence was directly behind them. Sleep-related presences were described by all three groups, but so were presences driven by emotional factors such as grief and bereavement. But there are other people, like you say, oh, my family visited me or someone died and they visited me. What if they visit you before they died? Like Dennis, he had his grandfather visit him. Like, well, I guess it was after he died, but before he knew that he passed away. So it wasn't bereavement that caused him to come visit him. You know, I can understand, like, your mind, someone dies and your mind is having a hard time accepting that they're gone. So they make it feel like they're coming to visit you to help with the bereavement. But doesn't mean it happens all the time. Sorry. Despite its centuries old origins, the science of God, I can't talk tonight. The science of felt presence has really only just begun. In the end, scientific research may give us one overarching explanation, or it may need several theories to account for all these examples of presence. But the encounters people described in Phantasms of the Living aren't phantoms of a bygone age. If you're yet to have this unsettling experience, you probably know who has. Oh, I know plenty of people who have that experience. I'm trying to find some like haunted stories. Let's see. No, not this one. Everything you need to know about black-eyed children. This was posted on October 3rd, 2014. So it's almost 10 years old. But it's good to know, just in case you run into a black-eyed kid. Who are these terrifying black-eyed ghost children, and why are they on the newspaper front pages all of a sudden? It started on Sunday when the Birmingham Mail reported on paranormal investigator Lee Brickley's attempts to investigate sightings of black-eyed children at a beauty spot in Cannock, Staffordshire. The image is no longer available. The paper interviewed Brickley, who said an unnamed woman told him she had seen a spooky child whose eyes were completely black, no iris, no white, no nothing. He claimed that black-eyed children sightings were prevalent in the 1980s, citing a time his aunt and friends saw one on Cannock Chase in 1982. He also said there have been other recent sightings too. The Birmingham Mail then went one step further and joined Brickley on his nightly vigil to catch glimpses of the unkempt, anemic infant. Oh. I feel like I skipped a part there, but maybe not. Anemic infant on Cannock Chase. The report says there have been Yeah, the people who write these articles they need to try proofreading. The report says that there have been sightings of a slender man, a boogeyman reported by people on online forums, as well as the creature Brickley refers to as the pig man. Oh, like a lot of shit going on over there in Cannock Chase. I feel like I'm all right. Well, I'm gonna skip this article because it's really confusing me. Four weird clues that a parallel universe exists. Are ghosts and dreams evidence of alternate worlds? Let's find out. What do you think, Howie? Are they weird clues of that parallel universes exist? The scientific possibility of parallel universes first arrived with Everett Hewitt III's relative state formulation in 1957. Not long after, Bryce Seligman DeWitt renamed Everett's theory and introduced it to the masses, bringing us the popular term many worlds interpretation. But there are others which each attempting to solve the quantum measurement problem, and in this case, Everett's formulation. These include the many minds interpretation and my personal favorite, many histories. Interpretations, yeah, it's very messy. But for now, any thoughts of dimension hopping adventures and interacting with parallel universes are relegated to science fiction. It's just not possible, or is it? Let's take a look at some of the weirder clues that maybe, just maybe, we're living in one of many worlds. Let's watch this video real quick of Hampton Court.
This is what a security camera at Hampton Court captured on tape about 3 weeks ago. Is this a ghost?
Right, now what this is the security staff heard an alarm go off, which actually meant that the fire doors were open. They rushed to it and there was nothing there. The doors were closed, actually, when they got there. Now, we'll go back through this again. On CCTV camera, but not seen by anybody at the naked eye, was this. Can we see it again, please, now? Okay.
There are other CCTV cameras around Hampton Court, particularly after that fire. Nobody was seen approaching this particular spot. You don't see the doors actually being pushed open by hand. Figure strides forward and slams them shut. As you can see, and close-ups have shown that it appears to be dressed in medieval clothes, similar to what Henry VIII would have worn. But the key thing is it happened 3 days on the right. That's the only time that a figure actually appeared on the camera, and the other CCTV cameras and witnesses around saw nobody.
So, I mean, it's almost like the ghost saw the doors open. Like, what are you raising the barn? And then closes the doors. I mean, it's clearly something there. I mean, it's obvious that there's something there. Is it a ghost? I don't know. If they believe that there was nobody in the Hampton Court at the time, I mean, I don't have any other explanation for it. So here's a snapshot of an alleged ghost that popped up at the 16th century palace of King Henry VIII. It appeared on CCTV footage after security guards were notified of someone repeatedly opening the fire exit. So yes, I remember this vid. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's a spirit? I mean, it looks like there's something there for sure. And I'm not saying this is an actual ghost, just using it as an example. Beyond ghostly photographs, though many of these sightings could have an eerie, exotic explanation, parallel worlds leading into another. You know what? There was a a Doctor Who episode of the Doctor and Clara went to this castle, and they met a ghost hunter, and the voices they were hearing ended up being like a traveler, space traveler, got stuck into like a time warp or something, and she was trying to talk to them to get back to her world. But it was 2 different dimensions, and she was stuck in another dimension. But she was trying to talk to our dimension, but it sounded like a ghost. Again, that's not obviously not every explanation, but it's a good, interesting theory. Beyond ghostly photographs, though, many of these sightings could have an even more exotic. Oh yeah. Perhaps this person is alive and well in another world, and you've simply caught a glimpse into their universe, or perhaps this particular parallel universe is the realm of the dead itself. I think it was employees pranking. It could be interdimensional. Did you see? Pickett took his advantage of the soldier. Yeah, I mean, there is always a chance that it was somebody pranking. You know, especially these days, or I guess those days was 2014. But I mean, let's see. Let's watch it again.
This is what a security camera at Hampton Court captured on tape about 3 weeks ago. Is this a ghost?
Right, now what this is the security staff heard an alarm go off, which actually meant that the fire doors were open. They rushed to it, and there was nothing there. The doors were closed, actually, when they got there. Now, if we can...
So if that was a person pranking the security staff, they must feel pretty stupid, because all they'd have to do is go inside the building and search and see if there's anybody in there, and it almost sounds like it's the news reporting on the spirit or whatever in the footage.
We'll go back through this again. On CCTV camera, but not seen by anybody at the naked eye, was this. Can we see it again, please, now? Okay.
There are other CCTV cameras around Hampton Court, particularly after that fire. Nobody was seen approaching this particular spot. You don't see the doors actually being pushed open by hand. Figure strides forward and slams them shut. As you can see, and close-ups have shown that it appears to be dressed in medieval clothes.
So they said they didn't see the figure with the naked eye, right? But did they see the door shut by themselves, I wonder?
Similar to what Henry VIII would have worn. But the key thing is it happened 3 days on the run. That's the only time that a figure actually appeared on the camera, and the other CCTV cameras and witnesses around saw nobody.
Weird. I've talked to dimensional beings using dead wave. Huh. May have to look into using dead wave. I use necrophonic, and God, what do we use? What's that thing we use in the Howie? What was that called? Let's look it up. Are you Spirit Talker? What else? Something we use in the what's that thing we use in Hope? That's what it was called. Yeah, that's what it was called. We use. Still trying to figure out how to use that thing, because spirits sound drunk on Hope. Necrophonic is Necrophonic is dead wave, is more customizable. Okay. It's a gateway app. Deja vu or alter views. Alter views. Views or views? I guess it's views. A déjà vu is one of the strange phenomena of the mind, including déjà vécu and déjà visité, among others. Déjà vu, in particular, is a uncanny sensation that we've experienced something before that an event is repeating itself. Déjà vu, visu, with déjà visu, you may even feel that you know what's going to happen next. An alter view, as well, as a term that popped up during the John Titor saga to describe when someone remembers their world line differently. Conflicting memories, something changed about the world they live in. Think about Marty McFly at the end of Back to the Future. He'd remember the name of the mall as Twin Pines Mall, but due to his time travel, it changed to Lone Pine Mall. He remembers both realities. Both experiences have neurological and memory-based explanations, but it is possible that déjà vus are memories from other versions of ourselves in other universes, or that alter views are truly memories from altered world lines. Both experiences have neurological memory-based explanations, but is it possible that déjà vus are memories from other versions of ourselves in other universes, or that alter views are truly memories that from altered world lines? You know what? I mean, there's always that possibility. I thought, past life, but it doesn't really explain. If you feel like you've been at a particular point in your life before, how can that be a past life? Because it's already happened. But if it's an alternate reality, like an alternate you, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Mm. Mm. It's different. I've had deja vu before. I feel like I've been at a particular location or particular, but not really like I feel like I've been to like if I went to a house in like Williamsburg or whatever, and it did feel like I've been there before. Like I went to James, like if I was in Jamestown, oh, I've been here before. No, it's more like I've been in a particular. It's like a particular moment in time. Like I've done something before. Maybe in a dream I've done it, which would kind of go into what the third thing is over here. Like if I had a dream about a location and I end up there, that could feel like deja vu. If sleep is a little slice of death, then what are dreams? Some dreams we remember, but most we don't. While the mechanism for dreaming is fairly understood, they tend to occur during REM sleep. We still don't know their true purpose, if there is one. A glimpse into the unconscious mind, a way for our brains to sort information, or could they be windows into another world? Yeah, I'll come on. That'll be fun. I'll come on this, have a whole conversation about this stuff because it's really interesting. Very interesting. I think the theory of dreams being a result of, or is deja vu being a result of dreams is probably makes more sense than them being a result of a parallel universe. Or what was it? Deja vu. Or deja vu being the result of two realities. Believe it or not, parallel universe stories. These are going to be fun. Believe it or not, there have been a few cases of individuals who claim to belong to another world or whose origins otherwise could not be traced. True, false, I don't know. Consider these two stories. All right, guys, ready? Lorena Garcia, who woke up one day in a world, our world, but that did not belong to her. According to the story, as her day progressed, she continued to notice small incongruities, little things that were just off, but there were big things too. So I went to work on my car, which was parked where it always parked, and it was the same office that I worked in for the last 20 years. But when I got to my department, it wasn't my department. It has names on the door, and mine wasn't on it. I thought I was on the wrong floor, but no, it was my own floor. I went over to the office's wireless section, looked myself up, and still worked there, but in another department, reporting to a superior I didn't even know. Number 2. A strange man arrived in Tokyo in 1954 with a passport from a country that didn't exist called Tirad. Japanese custom officials detained the man, but his passport was not fake. It had the proper stamps issued by the country of Tirad and even included Japanese stamps from a previous visit. The man swore that Tirad probably, was a European country that existed for over 1,000 years. And he also held other papers such as bank statements with the country's name on them. After several hours, customs officials eventually placed the man in a hotel with security nearby to ensure that he did not leave his room while they checked things out. The next morning, he was gone. No trace, a manhunt ensued, but there is no point. He simply vanished. Obviously, the veracity of these two stories can't be confirmed, at least to my knowledge, but you work with what you have, So do parallel universes exist? The above clues are just some possibilities that I find intriguing. Not that I believe any of them, but the universe is a strange place. What do you believe? I mean, I don't think this is the only world out there, and I think that that there are many other like layers of worlds out there, and it's the kind of thing that really makes you think, especially those last two stories. They could just be stories, obviously. But it's fun to think about. Do you watch the Y-Files? I have not watched the Y-Files, but I will definitely check them out. All the stuff about parallel universes and, just hurts my head just thinking about it. Because there's so much to like try and comprehend about all that stuff, and honestly just goes over my head. RJ needs a drink. It's on here, YouTube. Okay. I'll look for it. It's all about spirit guides. Closing. Spirit guides, ghostly communication help us from beyond, seeking guidance from the other side. I'll have to meet my spirit guide. There's an old movie from 1993 that exists in the deepest recesses of my mind called Heart and Souls. It starred Robert Downey Jr., Charles Grodin, Elizabeth Shue, and Alfred Woodward, and it was about a group of people who died together in a bus crash and became the unwitting spirit guides or guardian angels to a boy just at that moment. Haven't seen it in ages, but I remember it being a pretty fun movie. But don't quote me on that. I really don't remember. Robert Downey Jr. apparently views it as one of his favorites, though. I have not heard of this movie, but may have to check it out. Although, anyways, I thought we talk a little about these spirit guides, the otherworldly beings said to guide us from beyond. Are they real? Well, real has no meaning here. This is a paranormal folklore, and we're just going to see what people have to say. What are spirit guides? The term spirit guide likely evokes the image of a spectral, translucent figure of the once living. Someone who's been around the rock block before, maybe a few times, and for some cosmic reason is lending you a hand. This, according to the folklore, can be exactly the case. Spirit guides are said to be non-physical beings and can indeed be the once living, with spirits of ancestors said to be the particularly powerful guides. However, guides can also take other forms. They can be animals or guardian angels or beings from other planes of existence. Then they can be what's called light energy or ascended masters from other former humans who've reached enlightenment. They can even be the world living around us, taking forms of nature and even plant life. Some even believe that spirit guides are none of these things, but rather the spirits of our true selves guiding us from some higher state of being. Now that's a fascinating possibility. Here's the Heart and Souls teaser trailer. Let's watch this.
Oscar nominee Robert Downey Jr. and an all-star cast, including Charles Grodin,
I'll fail. I'm telling you, I always fail.
Kara Sedgwick,
You're so afraid of being hurt. You're going to end up all alone.
Elizabeth Shue,
Anytime things get remotely serious, you start, I don't know, wiggling around.
Tom Sizemore,
I'm a professional, all right?
and Academy Award nominees David Paymer
Let's go, dead people.
and Alfre Woodard.
I am so proud of you.
Tell you what, I'll give you a little preview.
Critics call it the best movie of the year.
I'm gonna walk like a man.
And the best comedy of the year. A magical fantasy, an absolute joy, funny, powerful, uplifting. Every moment is magic. Robert Downey Jr. gives an Oscar-caliber performance.
Look, this is all very illuminating, all this business mumbo-jumbo, but basically, who gives a shit? When there's a beautiful dish like you in the room.
And NBC TV calls Heart and Souls an instant classic.
You're supposed to use him as a vehicle. And if he won't do it, you enter his body and you make him do it.
Heart and Souls.
Oh, well. This is like an interesting movie. Many mediums and other practitioners believe that spirit guides are with you throughout your entire life. From the moment you're born, and just like Heart and Souls, you might have more than one or otherworldly entourage following you without you ever even knowing. This doesn't mean that you stay with you forever. You may have guides that stick with you your entire life just as well. They might come and go. But according to paranormal folklore, at any moment you can mostly be sure a guide is watching over you in some manner. Famous spirit guides. Whether or not you believe in such things, spirit guides play a major role in the mediumship, which is the practice of communicating with and channeling spirits. Other over the years, many mediums have publicly claimed to know and speak with their own guides. Celebrities and others have come forward with the names of their beloved guides as well. One of the most well-documented spirit guides, was perhaps an entity named Seth, channeled by author and spirit medium Jane Roberts. The Seth material, published by Roberts in 1970, is a rare, controversial book detailing the teachings of Seth. A number of other books on the topic have been published throughout the years as well, including those published posthumously by Robert's husband. The spirit, which described itself as an energy personality, began conversing with Roberts and her husband through a Ouija board on December 2nd, 1963. Man, I am having a hard time reading words. I'm going to skip around a bit. Before her passing, Olivia Newton-John wrote about her own spirit guides in her memoirs, Don't Stop Believing. She said her guides were actually the spirits of deceased friends such as John Denver and Karen Carpenter. They'd be nearby as she performed and support her from beyond. How to contact spirit guides, maybe. When contacting spirit guides, the usual methods of communication are employed. Listening is one, simply opening your mind to the spirit guide and seeing what happens. Perfect for the lazy among us. Some even name their spirit guide to strengthen their connection if a name isn't already provided. Another method is said to be automatic writing, in which you channel a guide by clearing your mind. Now that is the hard thing to do. In just writing or typing, the spirit may then take control in a sense and write out their message. Other attempts to meet their guides through methods like astral projection or meditation. Various sources claim that spirit guides may reach out to you on their own, simply as a voice in the back of your mind or feeling or even a dream. This would be something like your inner self-conscious and yet coming from outside yourself. There are also those who believe that the phenomena of synchronicity or noticing strange coincidences that seem impossibly connected is a way spirit guides may try to get your attention. Repeating numbers are also said to be a sign that your spirit guides is speaking to you. So if you get, 1111, 222, stuff like that. That 333. If you get 666, probably not a good sign. Have you met your spirit guides? Paranormal topics like this are often very fuzzy, and that's why when writing about them, it can feel like a random jumble of some say this and others say that. But that's really just how it is. There are no scientific studies I can point to regarding spirit guides and no hard facts. I've done spirit guide meditations on. I look up there is the channel called The Honest Guys who do spirit guide meditations and hasn't worked yet. Haven't met my spirit guide, but I do a lot better with guided meditations. And you keep trying until it works. That would be my my advice. Not that you're asking for my advice. I'm just putting it out there. I caught an American Indian kid named Kufta. Never heard it. Means welcome in saying Kufta. Never heard it. Means welcome in Sioux. Well, that's awesome. Wow, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Well, guys, I am going to get off of here. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. Learned some new stuff, stuff to think about. And yeah, I hope you have a good weekend. I'm going to King's Dominion with Angie. Looking forward to that. And going to go to some scary haunted houses. Hopefully I don't scream too loud and embarrass her. But I probably will to embarrass her because it'll be fun. We've got Ghost Seekers Texas coming on the show here on Tuesday. That's going to be fun. And it'll be fun to talk to them. Fun conversation. All right, guys. Have a good night. And I'll talk to you soon. We'll be back here. Same freaking awesome time. Same freaking awesome. Well, not same freaking awesome time because it was later. But we'll be back on the same freaking awesome time on Tuesday, I should say. All right. Good night, guys.